Hello guys, welcome back to my new video. So in this video, we'll be exploring 3JS based, React, map component or library. So basically, I'm currently working on one project which needs map integration. So I was looking around and trying to see if there is any solution which is already existing, which can provide me a React component, where that component renders the given map data. So I was looking around and then I found this really nice library which is doing the whole thing which I wanted. So actually the main use case is like you want to render a map, for example. You can check out their demo, like you can just click here and then it will take you to their stories, and then you can see, for example, this is a map on the internet, and then you want to render the 3D objects, from your scene. So yeah, basically, if you generally look, to do this, it's really a bit not that straightforward. Like you can check, the reason why someone took the pain of, creating this. So you can check, the reason behind, how complex it is to render the 3D objects onto the map. And also because if you're using vanilla JS, then you'll be using 3JS. Because I'm using React, I am using the React 3 Fiber library, which is again an layer of 3JS, which has implemented all the basic and the core components. And yeah, you can check out this library and it's really useful. It also has, for example, if I go to uh, introduction, like you can see, there are multiple support libraries, which you can check and see if it's useful for you in a way for your project. But Reactive Fiber is really a good option. Like if you really want to, use 3JS in React, and you don't want to, write all the components. So instead, you can uh, use this library, call the components, and it does what the React 3JS does, like the 3JS does in React. So basically, that's the advantage. I can also see that there is no limitation of using this. It does what the 3JS does in general. So everything works the way how a 3JS works, and yeah. So I'm using this in one of my project, and then for this I need to find a solution of using maps with the the React Reactive Fiber, and that is where I came across this library. And yeah, basically in this video we'll be seeing how to use this library, where I will go through, I will take you through how to install, how to basically set up a project, use for the React 3 Fiber, and then we will see how we are going to use this 3JS 3JS based React map library to see how we can import a real map, and then also see how to, and also see how to use it, and also see if we can try some ways to use the map data. So yeah, as I said, this is how, as you grow, see, you can see the whole map, which has been rendered slowly. But yeah, basically, we are going to use this library, and then yeah, see how we are going to import a map into React 3 Fiber based project. So yeah, so before going into the installation steps, let's also try to understand few other components which we'll be using alongside with the React 3 map, which I just showed. So basically, one component will be using, as I said, I already mentioned about React 3 Fiber, and then the other components is the React map GL. So the React map GL is the one which helps you to, it provides the components. So basically, it helps you to render uh, the map components within 3JS. So if you're using 3JS and vanilla JS based project, in that project you can directly use React Map GL for your use case. But yeah, if you're using React 3 Fiber, then you need this React 3 map library to render which helps you to render the React 3 Fiber components in React Map GL. So basically, React Map GL will be again helping you to use two other mostly used libraries. One is the map library gl.js. So this is one library which helps you to read the map data, from OpenStreet or any other open source based map providers. And also, for example, there's also another you can say like map provider like map tiles. So it depends on what type of provider you're taking data from. So this you can you can then use this maplib.gl.js to render that data, like basically. So basically maplib.gl JS will be the the component which helps you to read the data, and then React Map GL helps you to render the data in a React project. And on top of that, if you're using a React 3 Fiber based project, then you'll be using React 3 Map to actually render the map, which is basically being rendered by React Map GL. But yeah, it helps you to bridge them. So yeah, basically so these are the components which you'll be using. And as I said, you need a map provider. So you need map data, someone to provide. So there are multiple providers. So one of the provider I checked it out and used it. It is like this map tiler. You can create a free account. I already have an account, so let me just log in. So yeah, so as I see, there are already a few initial maps you can try. Like there are different types, and you can also see, different places, like, and then you can also see there are also, like the satellite based, there's like, toner, very like, ocean specific maps, landscape specific maps. Like you can select, or you can also create your own map. And for example, if you check the basic map, so yeah, so basically this is the map data, and then yeah, you just need to use any of this link to embed that data into your viewer. So basically, in our case, for example, we want to get this map data. We just copy this URL, and then yeah, it's basically there. So apart from that, you can also get your API keys, and then so basically this is your API key, and then this API you can use it by replacing it with in the URL which you'll be fetching the data from, and then yeah, basically you can get the map data. Apart from that, you can also get like some specific data. For example, if you want to get the terrain data, or if you want to get some landmass data, or some specific data, for example buildings data, buildings 3D data. So you can come into your tiles and create your own tiles, or you can use existing tiles. So tiles are like you specifically asking for some specific data. It could be anything, like it could be the polygons, or it could be a plane, identifiers, or heat maps or something. So you can just come here, just select the vector you want, or you can create your own one, and then yeah, use that vector. So you can see there are multiple, yeah, already pre-existing vectors, but yeah, end of the day it's up to you. So you can create one. So basically we'll be using map tiler to get the data, and then React 3 map to render the data finally into a React 3 Fiber based project, and then use the React 3 Fiber components within the map canvas, so that yeah. we have the project having the map component at the same time the our own 3D objects being rendered onto the map given the latitude and longitude location. So yeah. So yeah, in the next step, let's see how we are going to do this, and I will take you through each step. And yeah, so yeah, in this step we will set up the initial project of reactive fiber. So for that, first we need to set up a React-based project, so that and then we can install the the React Fiber library. So to basically set up a React project, I'll be using White. So White is like an front-end tooling library which helps you to create React-based template projects. And also it helps you to run the React project by providing you a live server. So, for example, if whatever development changes you do locally, they'll be reflecting instantly, and then you can have a look on the changes in the browser as if you're, looking at a real application, and then see, if everything is working, all the components have been shown, and yeah, you can verify everything. So, with that saying, open your favorite IDE. In my case, it's VS Code, and then open a terminal. So, just open a new terminal here. So I'm currently here. Oh, okay. Let me then just go into my projects. So yeah, so I'm here, and then let me just run the command. So basically, you need to have Node, and you need to have, and with that Node you get npm, which is a package manager. So basically, yeah, you'll be running this command. You say that you want to create a template of a React with the project name or the folder name called tmap. Using white the latest is nothing but the latest tag or the latest available white version. So yeah, once you press enter, it should create that project. Yeah, it has created the project in this particular folder. So if I go now, if I say open folder and then go in my downloads and my project, and then if I go into my YouTube and then the three map, and then just set. Yeah, as you can see, this is the initial project, and now you can just you can just open a terminal here again, so that yeah, it opens a terminal within this project. Yeah, now you can see, we are in this project, and then before, running npm run the dev to, start seeing your application, you need to first install White because we have not installed White globally or not installed it. So you can just run npm install, which will install all the missing components. And this command is common for, you know, every node project. Like whatever node project you take it from internet, you always have a package manager which stores all the dependencies. For example, if I go here, you can see that these are all the dependencies, and basically these are basically missing within this project at the global level. So yeah, basically it's installing all the missing dependencies. And once it's installed, we should be ready to use the app. So let's wait for it to finish. Yeah, sometimes it takes long because yeah, instead setting up it for the first time, you know, yeah. Now you can see, it's done. So you can just run npm run dev. So this command dev is here. You can see the script. So it basically runs White, and White provides you the, the live server now. So now we can see, the White is building your app, and then it says that, it's serving on local 5173 port. So just go to your browser and then just type localhost 5173, and you should start seeing your app here. Yeah, you can see, your app is here now. So, you want to see, this, for example, if you go into your project, go to your source, go to your, app.jx, which is the component which is rendering. Just, just change something like hello, Mohit Sunkara. Yeah, Mohit Bhargava Sunkara, and then press Control S, and then you can see the map, like the app has been updated. The live server has been updated, and if you go into your server, like into the application and into your browser, and then see it has updated the content, and now yeah you have the changes. So basically, you are seeing the live changes. So yeah, basically this is how you set up a React app, and if you're only working on a React based project, you can just continue from here. But if you want to use, like the React 3 Fiber, yeah, you should follow the next step where you'll be installing React 3 Fiber along with, the lab components. So yeah, in the last step we have set up a basic React project using White. So now we will be setting up the React 3 Fiber, like we'll be installing them alongside with the map components which you need to install. So the first thing we need to run is this command, like where we say we want to install three React 3 Fiber, and the Derry is like another library which has all the helper components based on React 3 Fiber. Basically, it's developed by the same community, so you can also check out this library, which really has all the helper functions which you need, and so that you don't need to create anything from scratch. So, with that saying, let's press enter. So yeah, once you have the React 3 Fiber components, been installed, you can also install one more library called Liva. So Liva is also again another React 3 Fiber based component which helps you to have an debugging UI to control certain level of parameters. Like for example, you want to have XYZ position of object to be changed. Instead of going back to your code every time and changing it within the code, you can have this debugging UI which helps you to change it on the fly, so that yeah, basically it's really a useful tool, like if you really are developing something which needs a lot of checking and everything. So you just need to install Liva. So Liva is another library. It's also part of the same ecosystem, so you can also check out that library. So yeah, once Liva is installed, let's now install the map components. So to do that, yeah, once let me finish. Yeah, so that is also finished. And this is the last command you'll be running. So you'll be saying that you want to install, this mapliber.gl, which we saw, in the previous step, and then also the React map.gl and also the React 3 map, which is the library which we're talking in this video. So once you say install, it will install all the things. You can see, all these packages are added to your, package.json. You can see, you added Liva, you added Fiber, you added Didi. So after this is finished, you can see, even these three libraries being part of this dependencies. Uh, yeah, and you can, yeah, basically this package.json will be holding all the information of your project, like what are the dependencies which is depending on. And once it's done, let's wait. Yeah, yeah, sometimes it takes long, but yeah, it depends. So, So yeah, as you see, those libraries are now part of the dependencies. So yeah, now we have a project with all the dependencies we need for us to render a map into a React 3 fiber-based project. So in the next step, we'll write the code which helps us to do that and see how it looks and how are we going to see and how are we going to play with it. So yeah, in the last step, we have installed all the components, not all, sorry, all the libraries which we need, for our use case. And now let's start by cleaning up the project. Like we don't need all this. For example, I don't need this thing. So yeah, we don't need this. We don't need all this. Currently, we are not going to use the use state hook as of now. So let's start on React. So yeah, and then just press. So, yeah. Let the app.js be there. I don't want to use index. And also, yeah, basically, yeah, that is a change you need to make here. And then if I go to, index.css, which you don't want to here, so you can just delete it. And yeah, like you can just delete the unwanted things. Like you can also delete the white.svg. I think it's been used in this HTML, which is the root document, on which the React renders its components. But yeah, it's okay. Like it's here, or you can just change if you wanted. For example, you can change the title. But yeah, for now, let it be like that. And in assist, yeah, we're not using the assets, so it's okay. In the app.js, in the app.css, we can just replace everything. We don't need all this thing, so we can just replace by using uh, this thing. For example, for everything, we want to say box sizing is border box. So these are like I always use this as a standard template for every project I do, for every HTML based project and CSS based project. So body and then the root. And then I'm saying the width is 100%, the height is 100%. So telling it to occupy the whole screen. And then I don't want any margin. So if there's any initial margins, just put it to 0. And if there's any initial padding, also put it to 0. Yeah. So basically, that's it. So instead of pasting it here, just copy that into here. Mhm. Good. Yeah. Now we have access to whatever we required, and just to check if everything is working. Let's create an h1 tag and then say hello world or hello my again, and this address, and then yeah, come to here and let's write it. So yeah, this should clean up everything. Now if I go into my uh, browser and just type localhost, it should be a plain page with hello my world. So everything is working, so it's good. Yeah, now let's see how we are going to have the map component uh, been used within this reactive fiber-based project. And yeah, so yeah, in the last step we have cleaned up the project and we have just created a small h1 tag. And now let's start implementing the actual code for the to render the the map into this React 3 Fiber project. So for that, we need let's start. Sorry. So we don't do this here. It's here, and then just put control F. Yeah, I made some small change, but it's okay. But yeah, now let's just import the required classes from the libraries. So for that, we need this particular library which we installed, the maplib.gl, and then we're also saying that we want to use the CSS which is provided by this library. And then after that, we also want to import the map component. For example, we want to say import, like map uh, from the React mapgl slash mapliber. So because yeah, we are using that, and then we also want to import the canvas which is provided by uh, you know React 3 map. So as you can see, and we want to use the canvas specifically from the mapliber. So you can just say we want to use that particular canvas. And for example, in your project, you want to use the already, by default canvas provided by React 3 Fiber. At the same time, you also want to use canvas provided by, React 3 Map. You can just say, canvas as, yeah, React 3 Map canvas. So now you can call instead of this so that there is a no naming problem, because when you say import canvas here and also import canvas from the regular React 3 fiber library, it says that there is a naming problem because both are using the same name. So instead you can just say call this as this, so that yeah, the compiler knows what you are referring to. And yeah, so basically, anyway, in this we are not going to use it, so I'm just taking it out. But just it's for your thing. So yeah, now we have imported all the required components which we needed. So let's clear off this this hashtag which is here. It's not needed. So in the app function, let's first write cons the key for to get the data from. If you remember, I showed you the map tiler. So we are getting the map tiler API key, and then we also want to get the style of the map. So if you remember, if you go into the map, if you log in into the map tiler and go into maps, then you have this basic map, and then if you click on that, you can see there is a URL, and then I'm saying that from that URL get the get the map style, and yeah, with the API key I provided. So with that, you have the map and even also the yeah, the map style. So basically now you need to uh, use the map component. For example, you just say map, and then within this map component, you'll be saying like the map liber, it needs to refer to the map liber class, and then yeah, you want to say anti-alias to true, and then we also want to set the initial view state, like here is the place where we give the latitude. For example, it's minus 35.39, and then and then yeah, you want to do give the longitude. So for the longitude, let me copy it from the internet. So yeah, and then yeah, basically you also want to give the maximum zoom one can do. So the zoom. So let's put it to 18, and then the pitch to which it can. So it's 60. Yeah, so and then we also want to pass, the map style, uh, which is nothing but the URL, which from which the data has been fetched. So this component will fetch that particular data from that, and then create the basically the map component, which renders the map. So now you have, the map which is being generated. So if I just press Control S, let's see, if there's any change. So let me check. Yeah, it's reloading, trying to optimize the build, and there's nothing. Let's check if there's an error. Yeah, looks like there is an error. Okay. So it's also asking us to install this Mapbox here. No problem. Let's just go back to our. Uh, let's just go back here. Just press, open a new terminal, and then just write, you know, npm install Mapbox. So I think we also need to install Mapbox.gl for the React, I think the React map GL to work. So I think it was the error from React. Yeah, oh, it's a error from React 3 map. So I think for the React 3 map to work, I think you also need the Mapbox GL. So Mapbox GL is one more yeah library which helps you to do the same thing of what MapLib is doing. So you can also check it out, Mapbox GL. But yeah, for now we are using MapLib. So yeah, the Mapbox.gl is installed. So if I go here and maybe if I go here and then refresh, okay, I think we need to restart the server. I think the server doesn't know the changes. So yeah, let's terminate the job and then just say again run. Yeah, and now if I go into my so yeah, so you can see the map has been rendered now. So basically, this is where I pointed the latitude and longitude. And yeah, basically you have the map now. So everything is working. And yeah, you can see, the whole interface is working. You can move around. You can zoom in, zoom out. You can change the view directions and everything. So yeah, that's how you have your map being rendered. And now let's see, how to use the canvas provided by, the React 3 map. So the canvas acts like a same thing, like, you can just say canvas. So it does all what the general React 3 fiber canvas does. So you don't like, so, sorry. So yeah, you don't need to, you don't like you're not losing any, yeah, you're not losing any functionality. But apart from the regular parameters, it provides a few more parameters. So you want to point out now the canvas to use the latitude. You want to look at, for example, you want to render the canvas at this latitude. So you just copy that and paste it here, and then yeah, and the longitude, and just copy that and then paste it here, and let's just add few React 3 fiber based components, like like just add a small light, so that yeah, when you add a material on the material on the object, it shows. And let's create a box geometry in the scene. So yeah, they're generating a mesh. So these all are general 3JS based, you know, 3JS based components, so that yeah, they don't belongs to the React 3 map, but they are generally 3JS components. So if you are familiar with 3JS terminologies, you'll understand what all this. But if you don't, like, I think it's better that you first understand how 3JS and 3JS and React 3 Fiber works, and then come to this tutorial to understand how to use the map component. So yeah, basically, yeah, that's how we say, we are creating a mesh. We are saying that, that mesh to use this geometry and also attach a material to it with red color. So if I just press Control S and then go into my maps, and now you can see, there is a small cube generated in this location. So that's the cool part. See, now you can render your three components in the map. Uh, which is like a real, based on a real geolocation. So you can get different geolocation and also render different, different objects. So in the next step, we will see how to use tiles. Like, for example, you want to show the 3D buildings. You want to show, the 3D version of all these patches here. So to do that, we need to use a few components which are provided by React Map.jl, and then use that to see, and then we can see how we can use those with this existing project and render different type of tile datas. So yeah, in the last step, we have successfully imported a map, now displaying the map within, this React 3 as React 3 fiber, and also added a small object, 3D object into this React 3, into this map, into this React 3 map provider, which is basically rendering the map, and then within that we are using the canvas it is providing, and then rendering the 3D object. So now let's understand how to use this tile based data, like, so the tile-based data can be from different types. Like, it can be an geo JSON based. If you want to target one particular geolocation and then do some color maps on it, or to generate some polygons on it. So, or generate some lines, for example, aeroplane routes between two countries. So these things are loaded using these tiles, and then in order to load tiles, you need two components. One is source, and then another is a layer. So the source one is the one which provides, where the data is coming from, where the tile data is coming from. And then you have the layer which actually adds that layer on top of, the existing map layer. So for example, now let's see how to do that. We go here. So in order to do that, we need to import two components within, this React Map.gl. So you can just say, I want to import source and abort and also layer. Yeah, so these are the two components which are needed. For example, now we want to, render, as I said, in the last step, we'll be rendering the 3D, the 3D buildings of the patches which we see there. So the patches we see there is a 2D version, and now we want to get the 3D version of the same thing. So to do that, we need to first have the source. As I said, the source is nothing but a tile. From map tile, you can go to, into the tiles, and then within the tiles, you can, get whatever data you want specifically. So if you want to get terrain data also, it's similar. You follow the similar style and then get the terrain data and apply the terrain data. If you want to, display how the hilly slopes and also the mountains looks when someone opens the map. So let's add the source URL, like for example, source URL, and then let's just copy, like let me just copy it. So as I said, I'm just again saying that, go to this map tiles, and then, yeah, use this key and then generate it. And once you do that, come down, into your map component, and there you want to add your source. Uh, and yeah, So the layer should always be within the source. It can also be outside, but yeah, if it's within the source, it will be, it'll be you can use the data provided by this source. And if it's a layer outside, then you need to specifically provide to the layer like what data you are referring to. But if you say that this is the source, you need to extract the data from. So you can just give it an ID, for example. Let me call it with open, like I'll just call it open map tiles. And then also the type. So it's an vector because we are getting all building data. And then the URL. So the URL is nothing but uh, the source URL. Yeah. So basically now your source is ready where the data is being received, and now we want to apply the layer, which is nothing but so within the layer, you say the ID of this layer. You can name it anything. For example, I'm naming it 3D buildings, and then the source should you should point out to the source ID. So you are saying that this is the source ID I'm referring to. So similarly, if you are doing it outside, then you need to have your source being labeled, and then that label should be referred here, so that the layer knows what you are referring to. And within this source, you are saying that I want to look at this particular layer. So within this source, you have different layers. So building is one layer, and yeah, and then the type of this layer is like full extrusion, because we are going to render 3D objects in the place of the 2D patches. So we are saying full extrusion. Uh, and then finally, the minimum zoom, if you want to give it like 15. And then, so if you want to, if you want to have any, yeah, conditional based rendering, then the minimum zoom will help. So now we need to do the paint. So within the paint, you have multiple options. For example, now, we are doing a full expression of color. Color, like this is optional, but it's up to you. For example, if you want to render different buildings on their height, to render different color, like the big buildings or the famous buildings, or the untouched buildings, or the user or some specific highlighter. Like if you want to highlight some specific building or some set of buildings, then you can yeah, use this full expression color, and then yeah, say that what color it needs to use for that particular type of building. So I want to say interpolate, and then yeah, and then give it as like in the linear, and then yeah, I want to get. So now I'm getting it from the data from the source. So get the render height. So render the height, and then if it's 0, then you say it is light gray. Let me just copy it instead of typing out everything. So yeah, if it's 0, then I want to say it's light gray, and if it's 200, it's royal blue, and it's 400, it's light blue. So basically, if the render height is like below within the, so below 200, then it's light gray. If it's above 200, it's light royal blue, and above 400, it's light blue. So basically, we are assigning colors to different heights. So yeah, basically that's how you assign colors. And then similarly, you can also, now we'll be extruding the height. So you are saying fill extrusion height. So, and then within that, we also again want to interpolate, and then we want to add linear, and then we want to add zoom. So we are just saying that, based on this interpolation, render the height. So, so it's 50. And then we're saying just get the height from the data source, just the way we did in the last step. And now finally, let's also do a full expression base, uh, so that we know, where to place that 3D object. So we say, case. So yeah, we are saying that, when we are zoomed out, when we zoom out is more than 16, we don't want to render the 3D buildings anymore, so that, the rendering cost is less. And when we come closer, when we, go below 16, then we want to show the buildings actually. So yeah, basically uh, basically that's how you uh, you write your layer. And I think there is some problem. Let me check. I think I missed somewhere something. Okay. So I have a case. I opened it. I closed it. My layer. So let me check again. So this one is closing here. And then I have this opened here. So yeah, this one should also be closing with a bracket, and then this one should be also. Okay, let me just maybe copy it again. Yeah, so I think there was some indentation errors, but yeah, it's okay. So yeah, I think everything is okay now. Let me just adjust it a bit. But yeah, this should work. And so yeah, so this is where my paint ends. And let's see if everything is working fine. So yeah, as you see, now we are able to render the buildings, and as you go up, you see, you can just see the base. So now you don't see the 3D buildings instead, and when you come closer, you can start seeing the 3D buildings coming up. So this is really, a cool thing. So that yeah, you are not rendering every time all the buildings, but you're just rendering. So like for example, let's come into a city. Let's see, if we can render these buildings. See, this, we are able to render those buildings. And yeah, let's see if we can find any. Uh, so let's see if we can find anything. But yeah, so yeah, I think there's no height buildings here. Everything is small buildings. Everything is in gray. But yeah, if you look at another location, and yeah, if you can see, yeah, and then you can see, if there's any height building, then we can see a different color. Yeah, so that's how you add a source and get the 3D buildings jet out of it. And you can also control this source. So in the next step, I'll show you how to control them. But yeah, for now, we are successfully implemented a source and a layer, and then yeah, we have it running. So yeah, in the last step, we created the source and layer. Now we have the 3D buildings generated. And now, but if you also remember, we added a 3D object, and now you cannot see that. And if you want to see that, and that is where, this, controlling this source and layer comes into the play. For example, if I go into, for example, I want to add an opacity to this, to this building component. So I can just say, yeah, I can just say fill, expression opacity, and then just set it to 0.5, for example, and then just press Control S. And then if I come back, and now you can see, the render is only rendering, point with 0.5 opacity, and now you can see the 3D object which we added. So, for example, if you want to show some 3D object within a building, like which is already there, then you can use this. You can use this option and then this attribute, and then you can control it. And to make it, at the same time, I also want to show you how to use Liva, because now we see, if every time you want to change something, you have to come back into the code and then change it. Instead of that, you can use Liva. For example, you go to your you say import use control. So you're just saying that use this. I want to import this hook from Liva, and it's very straightforward. You don't need to configure anything. You can just say const for example the variable which you want to use. For example, yeah, control opacity, and then you say use controls, and within that controls, yeah, and within that controls you can say control opacity, and this opacity value can be 0.5, like the initial value. Then the min can be 0, and then the max can be 1.0, and then yeah, and then you also want to add some, for example, the step, how much it can increase. So that, yeah, you are doing it within the boundary of that value. So yeah, for example, 0.1. Yeah. So, and then now you can use this variable by replacing that with this 0.5. So yeah, basically that's how you do it. And now let's see if it's working. If you press Control S and go back to your component, recall it, and see if there is no error. Yeah, as you see, now you have an UI component here, which can act as a debugger, and it's really cool. Like now, if for example, if I want to change the value, and as I go increase it, it reaches to its maximum, and now you cannot see the cube. And now and if I slowly change it, it also changes the, it comes to zero, and it looks like there's only base. So it's a cool tool. Like you can have multiple options, control multiple things. For example, you can control this, these values, like, what is the minimum and maximum. And yeah, you can also have the color component set it by the user instead of you setting it here. And you can play with this, you can play with this library. And it's really a cool library if you really want. And I would recommend you to use it in your React projects, especially if you're using 3JS based, if you're using 3JS and React 3 Fiber. I think it's better that you use this and then try to, control, your variables from here itself without going to the code every time and making changes. So yeah, so that's it. So that's it for this video. So in this video, like, I think you saw how to, import maps into a React Fiber. I hope this is helpful. If someone is really doing this project, I think you can suggest them this video, and yeah, which made it very helpful to them, and yeah, and decrease some time of researching everything. So yeah. With this, I'll be concluding the video, and thank you for watching. And if you like this video, please and share it with your colleagues and friends who may need it. And also, yeah, and subscribe to my channel. And yeah, see you in the next video. Bye, guys.